What's up, guys, and welcome back to the pipeline. I've got some updates on all of our active projects as well as some of the ones in pre-construction, and we are making great progress. So let's get into the video. If you're new here, my name is Corey Fields Jr. I'm a builder, investor, and developer. In the past 24 months, my dad and I have sold over $5.5 million in residential real estate. We've currently got $11 million in development, all with an average profit margin of 45 to 50%. So here are all of our active projects. And we actually just added 4 more. We just picked up 4 more lots, and I'll be covering those in the next video. But if you want to take a look at all these and pause, go ahead. And we're going to start with the investor builds. So starting off, commercial single family, we are still waiting on the city to come out and put that meter in. They fixed the water leak. Now they got to come on and put the meter in, and they still have not done that. So can't do anything until they come and fix the meter. Moving on to George Street, single family. So we are making really good progress on this one. So this past week, we got all of our insulation installed. We passed our MEP inspection, passed our framing inspection. So we got all that done, and we also got our rain garden dug out. This is what it looked like before they dug it all out. This is what it looked like after. So all this is dug out. So now this next week, they're going to come out and put all the gutters on. And that way we're diverting all the water coming off the roof straight into this rain garden. And we are going to fill it up with gravel, mulch, and all that good stuff. So it drains really well. And we also tied in to the lateral. So now everything's completely tied in. We are ready to go over here in terms of being tied into the street and the main and whatnot. So we're good to go there. And then we got all of our drywall delivered and staged. So they came over and dropped it off. And these guys right here, they work for us full time. They staged everything inside because when they were delivering the sheetrock, we were digging up and tying into the lateral. So they couldn't really stage it any closer to the house. So we staged it in the street. And it was a huge pain in the ass because this house, the street that this house is on, it's a serious slope. So when they were unloading the sheetrock, the plastic up underneath it kept causing it to slide. So the sheetrock slid off. Luckily, none of it broke or anything. But we got all of the sheetrock unloaded and set inside the house. And then they came and hung all the sheetrock. So all of our sheetrock is hung. We're ready to go. We've got, I'm not sure if the finishers made it over there yesterday, but if not, they'll definitely be there tomorrow on Monday to go ahead and start taping up all these seams, start mudding everything. And this thing should be completely finished, start to finish, by the end of the week. And this is what we're looking like right now outside of the house. So we're making great progress over here. They'll finish up hanging, mudding, sanding, all that this week. And then after that, we'll go ahead and get all the walls primed, get our cabinets delivered, get all the trim delivered, and keep cruising along here. We're making really good speed on this one, really good progress. So now moving on to Andrew's single family. This past week, we finally got this pad built up. Got the pad built up, got the slab formed up, and we actually, all the under slab plumbing is done as well. I just didn't make it over there yesterday. Actually, I was there yesterday morning, but I had to leave before they got there. But they have all the plumbing roughed in. They tied into the lateral. All that's done. So now, after we get this thing inspected, it's just prepping the slab, pouring the slab, and that's that. So we'll be framing on this real soon. Hopefully we can get it poured this next week. So now moving on to the owner builds, starting with Baker single family. So over here, we are making steady progress. So last week, they dug all the footings and started putting in all the rebar and setting all that up. This past week, we got all the step downs formed up, rebar in place, all that good to go. Then we poured the footings. All the footings are poured. And then we got all the block delivered, and they started laying out all the block. And we're almost complete with this block. So all that's left is they need, I think they're going to need maybe like 10 or 20 more blocks to put it over here and finish this off. But they're almost done. And what's going to happen is this is the carport. If you're new here, this is what the carport. This is where the carport is going to be, and this is what that looks like over here on the site plan. It's right here, and we actually deviated from the plan a little bit, but it's fine because the house still sits in the setbacks. But this retaining wall isn't like this. It is actually running on this far side over here. So this wall will be connected to the house, this retaining wall. While the corner of the house is like somewhere right here, and this wall is going to go all the way to here, and it runs along here like that. So that's where that retaining wall is. And there'll be two posts, one post right here, one post right here, and then the house will actually sit on this wall. So after we get the slab formed up and more pictures and whatnot, you'll be able to really see what I'm talking about. But let's see. They're going to fill all of these cells along this side of the wall and probably in here as well, because there's going to be a lot of weight on this front corner right here, because the house is going to sit directly on this wall. So when we form up the slab will sit 4 inches above this wall. And let me go over here to the front elevation. So that's what it'll look like right here. So all up in here, the house will sit on here, and it'll literally be sitting directly on top of that wall. So the wall is going to need to be pretty strong because there's going to be a lot of weight on it. But next steps, after they finish up with this block, they'll finish it tomorrow. There's only a little bit left to do. After they finish all this up, then we'll go in and backfill all of this, and then we'll start forming up the actual slab. And we're actually going to have to cut down and move some dirt around back here to actually make this all work. But they'll form up the slab and get all this situated. And then after we pour the slab, we can finally start framing. So hopefully we can get all this done in the next week or so. I think we'll definitely be able to get this slab formed up, prepped, plumb, all that this next week. In terms of pouring, and that'll probably be the week after next. But we are making steady progress over here, and we should start framing in the next couple weeks or so. But after framing, or once we're out of the ground completely, that's when everything starts to go downhill. Like truly, getting out of the ground is the longest, most tedious part of this entire construction process. Once you're out of the ground and you start framing, after that, everything is just downhill from there. So that's the update on the Baker single family. Now moving on, Northwest single family. This one's still in permitting. We're probably going to see this permit towards the end of the month. Moving on to the Austell townhomes. We're getting ready to start this in a couple weeks. We are still waiting on schedules for labor and getting all of these trenches dug and whatnot to lay all the sewer lines and get all those manholes set and whatnot. This will be a huge ordeal. And like I said in the last video, as we get closer to actually getting started, that's when I'll really dive into how we're going to go about all this. But right now we are waiting on labor schedule, and after that, we'll actually be able to get started. Moving on to the Smyrna Enclave. This one is going to be 5 units, a 5-unit enclave right here. And we are still working on getting that land disturbance permit. Should see that in the next few months, most likely. But again, the same thing here. As we get closer to getting that land disturbance permit, I'll really dive in more depth on how we're going to go about all this, because we're essentially going to have to do the same thing that we're doing over here, because this is a full-on development project, and it'll be the same thing here. We're going to have to tie into the sewer from over here, run it up, bore up underneath the road, and then run it all the way along here. Same thing with water. We'll have to tie in all throughout here. It'll be a whole process. I don't think we're going to have to do any stormwater detention. I'm not quite sure yet because, again, we're still working on that with the city and going through those revisions and whatnot. But it'll be very interesting. A lot of stuff going on up here. But that's pretty much the update for the Smyrna Enclave. Moving on to the Hiram 2 lot or 2/4 lot, because we still haven't decided whether we are going to do 2 or 4. But we closed on Thursday. So now that we closed, we already ordered the survey. So they're going out there to do the survey. We'll send that survey to the engineer, and he'll start drafting some stuff up. And then we will decide whether we are going to do 2 or 4. So now the engineer is 6 weeks out right now. Or we met with him last week. So I guess 5 weeks out right now. So he probably won't get to this for a month, which is fine. So in the next month or so, we will actually get a much better idea on whether or not we are going to do 2 or 4. But in the meantime, this is just sitting idle. They're going to do the survey, send it to the engineer, and then he'll start drafting some stuff up, and then we'll decide. But that's pretty much the update for Hiram 2/4 lot, single family. Moving on to the Dillon 2 lot. Also closed on this one on Thursday. We went ahead and ordered the survey right after we closed. And the soil test, what they're going to do is we were going to clear all this before they did the soil test. But we probably won't get to it. So what they're going to have to do is probably just, clear a path, mark out where they're going to do their bores, give them an idea on where we're end up putting the houses, and they'll do their bores accordingly and whatnot. So we should be seeing the soil test results in that survey real soon. And again, same thing. We're going to have to send this to the engineer after we get that soil test and the survey. But that pretty much wraps up this week's weekly pipeline update. If you guys want me to expand on anything in here or break some things down on how we're going about doing any of this, let me know down in the comments, and I will be sure to do so in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.